Today, I want to do a documentary on suicide in the federal system. In 2003, I was sent to Pollock, USP. I had seen I heard a couple of guys commit suicide in the feds. I don't know if it was because of how much time they had or what was the thing that the suicide rate in the feds is real high. I know one day was this guy in Lompoc, he was telling me that he knew me, and he was telling me that he knew some guys I know, so he gave me a phone number to one of my homies, and I called him, and I talked to a couple of homies, and they were telling me, yeah, man, this guy, I know this guy know me and everything like that. So I ended up going to Atwater. And while I was in Atwater, somebody told me that the guy that said he knew me had committed suicide. And I wanted to document suicide in the federal prison because I don't think they get enough light on the suicide rate into the feds, just like the suicide rate into the military. But to make a long story short, one day I was in Pollock, and it was this, we used to be sitting on a bench, and we used to be cracking jokes, and we used to be talking about baseball games, football games, basketball games, and tickets, and the child, and everything. And this guy walked up, and he said, hey man, y'all over here cracking jokes and everything. I just got through doing 15 years. I'm back on a new sentence with life, and I'm gonna kill myself. So, a couple of us, we was like Mike Wonder, a couple other guys, we was like, man, go on with that stuff, man. We don't wanna hear that stuff, man. Go on about your business, bro. We don't wanna hear this. Nah, man, my name's Twin from Houston, and I'm gonna kill myself. So, about 4 or 5 days later, we was walking around the track, and he had these white guys. He was trying to get these white guys to show him how to tie the knots and how to hang himself. So we thought the guy was playing. So we just walking around, looking at the guy. We could see the guy showing him how to do everything. And I talked to another guy. He was like, man, that dude ain't gonna do that, man. And the guy say, man, I think that guy's serious because his best friend is going with his wife, and this guy have a lot of hatred in his heart. He have a lot of madness because of his best friend is going with his wife, and I think he might do it. So we just kept walking around the track, and days went by, a week went by, and then somebody said that his brother had committed suicide in another prison, and then one morning, and he was like, for real? So we looked at the guy in a whole different light. But one morning, we was late for work, and while we was late for work, we was wondering why we was late. So kind of find out that this guy had killed himself, and he hung himself. And I just wanted to bring this to light because I had a life sentence, and I seen a lot of guys kill themselves in the federal prison. I seen this other guy, he was a white guy, he was out of Chicago somewhere. He had a big trucking company, he had a lot of money, he was running a ticket, and one morning he killed himself. But I don't know if a lot of people know that a lot of times in the feds, people kill themselves, and then, a lot of people say, this guy wouldn't have done that, this guy wouldn't have done that. I don't know if it be psychological, spiritual. I don't know that a lot of times these guys been in cell by themselves, and in certain prison, the bars is not going across, they're going up and down. And this guy killed himself, and it's kind of like being on my mind and my heart for a long time. How could a man that's fully functioning? How could he just take his life and let himself choke? And they said that he put a chair up and he killed himself. But I just don't know how a guy would actually pull it off, because if you pull it off and it don't work, you might be paralyzed for the rest of your life. But I heard that one time a guy jumped out the window after he got his sentence. I heard a lot of stories about the federal laws, how much time they give guys, and how they kill themselves and how they jump out windows. And a lot of guys do a lot of different things. They OD, they do a lot of different things to relieve themselves from this harsh sentence. And I just wanted to bring light on suicide inside of federal prison. I did one on isolation confinement, and I'm doing this one on suicide because the suicide rate is high. And I see how the military guys come back from, they have PTSD, and now I see that a lot of these guys that got out the federal system, they got PTSD, but they not been diagnosed. And I see a lot of guys, they didn't have nowhere to turn to, and they didn't have no resources to be able to get help. But I just wanted to let a lot of people know that a lot of guys that was in the federal prison, they was walking deaf. They were just walking like they was in a tombstone, and the only thing they was waiting for to be is put dirt on them. And I know a lot of times it be because of their wife left them, it be because of their kids, going on and do different things. And a lot of guys, I remember one time this other guy, two of his daughters had got killed. There was another guy that we used to come to the chapel, and they used to ask for prayer and stuff like that, because the chapel's job is to go and tell people that their parents died, or their friends died, or their mother, father died. And I sat there in federal prison, and I seen the mind games, and I seen the mind things that a lot of people, man, they just take for granted that people would end their life in a second in prison. Now I see that the OD is high. I see that the COVID killed a lot of people, and I think sometimes these guys be wanting somebody to do something to them or to kill them because they don't want to kill themselves. But I know this is a big thing on the suicide. This is a big thing on killing yourself and just be having 40 years in a prison, 50 years, 60 years, and you're 55, 60 years old, and you sitting in these prisons, and you're losing your appeals, you're losing your direct appeal, your Supreme Court certiorari, and you have a lot of time on your hands, out of time at that workshop, and you're just sitting there and you don't know what to do. Your money funny. A lot of times you get sick. A lot of times your back hurts, your head hurt, and you're just sitting in these cells. You're just walking around like you're just waiting to die. And a lot of times you go down to the hospital and they tell you have a certain kind of disease, you have cancer, you have high blood pressure, you have diabetes, and you just can't stop eating all these soups, and this sodium killing us and killing and everything. And it just seems like you go to chow and you just sit there and you eat all these starches, and it's just like you're killing yourself, but you want somebody else to relieve from that stress, because it's a mind, it's all into the mind. That's why they have a psychology department and the drug treatment. But I really think that this issue needs to be addressed, and I really think that this issue needs to be in front of Congress, and I really think that a lot of people need to get help. And I've been out, a few months, and I noticed there's a lot of psychological things going on. I see a lot of mental health. I see a lot of things going on in society, and I see that a lot of people is using drugs. I see a lot of people that's just tired of being alive, and they just wanted to do something to themselves. But I just wanted to bring awareness to the suicide in the federal prison. A lot of times people, they call home, people, the feds call home and tell their people that they died of something else, and it'd be something else, and it'll be suicide. But it's more than one way to commit suicide, and I think that this is going to be a big thing years later. When you go back in history and you look at the suicide rate into federal prison, and you'll see that a lot of these guys took their own life. They be getting into things they don't like. They be molested. There's a lot of things, suicide in the feds.